Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Mitchell's Lawn Care new shop in Colfax, North Carolina. I'm joined here with Lamont and Hairston.
How you doing?
Casey Turner.
What's going on?
Mitchell Gordy.
What's happening?
And I'd like to say thank you to the sponsors that made this tour all possible. Echo, nice job, Site One, and Kohler Engines. I really appreciate them giving me the opportunity to come on out here. And Mitchell just took me out to Mexican restaurant and
Yes,
had
sir.
some steak burritos. So thank you for your hospitality.
It was delicioso.
Si, senor. So, and Lamont, I was just hanging out with you in Texas a couple weeks ago, man.
Yes, sir. Sure was.
So it's great to be up here in your guys' new shop. So go ahead and for everyone listening and watching, just give a 30 to 60 second bio of your business.
I'm Lamont Hairston with Hairston Property Management out of Stone, North Carolina. Very small, 25, 30 clients, solo. Do have a part-time helpers. We do mostly lawn care and light landscaping, mulch, pine needles, brush removal. No hardscaping, no retaining walls, nothing like that just yet.
Casey.
Casey Turner, Turner's Yardz and Mower 2. My dad had the first one, and he retired and shut that one down a little bit. He's still doing a little bit on the side, but mostly lawn care and turf treatments. Don't really like the hardscaping with the logistics and everything. Been in the industry about 24 years now. Started in commercial world and got tired of employees, so now I'm out on my own solo op, about 30 clients.
Trooper Gordy.
You just had to, didn't you?
Yes.
No, because Mitchell's so kind at the Hype House. I was listening back to our interview, and we remember sitting on the balcony, and I called you Officer Gordy, and you didn't even correct me. And I was listening back, and I was like, oh, man, that's never going to happen again.
That's because mentally I threw you over the back.
I was just trying to redeem myself. We'll let Jason Creel redeem himself next February.
He's such a nice guy. Mitchell Gordy, newly located in Colfax, North Carolina, here at my new shop. Very blessed to be able to host you fellas today. And I've been in business. This is my 12th season. And, lawn care, landscaping, just like these fellas. I'm just happy to be here. If you want to know my story, tune into one of your episodes early on.
Yeah, you've been on the show like 5 or 6 times. So
glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit of the story of how this all came together. We were chatting off air about how material prices have just like all across the board have skyrocketed. You kind of, not that this was a cheap endeavor, but you kind of got in right before everything peaked.
Yeah, I got in when the getting was good, I guess you can say.
So the process, guys looking at this and watching your videos and Instagram, like, man, I want one of those. Kind of walk us from how it started to how it actually is, almost complete.
Yeah, I'm gonna, preface it with, if you want to see the whole build of this, I documented the whole thing on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out at Mitchell's Lawn Care LLC. Little plug, but this was the brainchild of when I was running full time and I had a crew working for me. So that's why this building is the size that it is. Because I wanted everything to be under one roof, all vehicles, trailers, you name it. I wanted everything under here. And decided to scale back late 2019, but the ball was already rolling for this building, and I didn't want to stop it. So now it's business / personal use, and it's been a fun process. A little stressful. It was like 3 months behind schedule being finished because we had such a wet winter, if y'all remember that. It seems like it rained every single day. So it was delayed, but material has skyrocketed, and if I'm not mistaken, I did a little bit of homework a couple months ago, and the building kits on these things have almost doubled from what I paid for it. So I got lucky, and you said, Paul, it wasn't cheap, but it was definitely cheaper than it is now. So I kind of feel bad for the guys that are maybe jumping into this now, but this was 12 years in the making. It didn't happen overnight. So I've had guys message me, why does a single, solo man need this big of a building? Well, he doesn't, newsflash. I don't need this big of a building, but it was a brainchild when I had guys working for me and 3 trucks and all that crap. So I'm blessed to have it, and I don't take it for granted, but anybody can have it through hard work.
Yeah. What's the process of, getting someone to build it? You mentioned the kit with some of the materials, but how do you go about actually what's the various steps to make it happen? Abbreviated version. I know it's all on YouTube.
Yeah. I served as the general contractor for this. Okay. I'm not a licensed contractor, but I served as the general contractor, so it was up to me to subcontract out the work. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much just find guys that did the things I needed to do. Just like in our industry, if I don't do something, we'll find somebody that does it. Like I don't spray, chemical treatments. Casey does, so I sub him out. So it was just like this. It was just picking up the phone and calling, like, hey, do you know anybody that does this? No, I don't, but I know this guy. Got anywhere from 2 to 4 quotes on everything. So I had a contractor that did my grading and concrete. I had a contractor that did the actual construction of the building kit, and I had a electrical contractor, and had to do all that in accordance with Guilford County Code. So everything was inspected, through the processes. But it was a learning experience. I've never been a quote or general contractor on a job like this. So, but that's how you do it. If you don't have the contractor doing it for you, then you have to be the GC.
Yeah. What was the biggest hiccup throughout the whole process?
Weather delays. Yeah. Luckily, I hired really good contractors that knew what they were doing. They knew how to do things by code. So I think it failed inspection twice on something very minor that they could just adjust. Like I didn't have gutters on it at the time when the inspector came by, and he failed it because based on the square footage of the roof, it being a residential property, erosion this, erosion that, it had to have gutters and downspouts. But I had already had them ordered, but he came before they were on, so it failed. But the biggest hiccup was just weather delays, and you can't control that.
And then what about over there? You got the house going simultaneously. What's that been like, building a dream house?
That's Hannah's place.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like hands off that because I did what I wanted to do here, and I was very hands on with the construction of this shop. I was stressing about this and all the details of it. And once this thing was done, the shop got finished and then the construction on the house started. And I just looked at Hannah and I was like, felt like I kind of like tossed the softball to her, and I was like, now it's your turn, have fun, But it's been another wide or eye opening experience because I've never built a house before, neither has she, and there's 40 details to one with the house compared to this place. So I've learned a ton doing that. But it's just like anything that you do in your life. If you haven't experienced it, someone else has, so just call people, pick their brain. We've done posts on social media like, hey, we're doing this with our house, or we're doing this, what's recommendations, so getting, real world experiences from other people has helped guide us to where we are now.
Cool. Well, that segues me into talking some lawn care here. I wanted to hear each of you guys' seasons going. And Lamont, we'll start with you, man. What's been going on? Is it kind of mid-July here, middle of the season? How's your season been going?
It's going pretty good. It's better than it was last year. I picked up, I think, 6 or 7 new clients this year. My goal was 25 to 30, and I'm halfway there. So I've probably got another 5 or 6, and I'll be at 30. But we mow 3 days a week. My big route is on Wednesdays, and I mow Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I work at Lowe's in the evening time a couple of those other days. But it's been going good, man. So
is your schedule at Lowe's set? You work the same day each week, or is it they just kind of?
It varies, but I don't work till after 4 p.m.
Okay.
So I work 4 to 9 in the evenings, and then I get out there about 7:30 o'clock in the morning, and we start our routes. And usually we're done by 1:30 to between 1:30 and 3 o'clock.
What services are you offering this season?
Weekly mowing, mulch pine needles, river rock installation if you can find it.
That's been a big issue here this year.
Yeah, river rock has been like scarce here this year.
But Ben Naaman seems to find it everywhere.
He must live in a quarry.
Yeah. Well, I know
he lives in a different country, don't he?
Well, Alabama.
He's in Alabama.
Yeah,
that's what Brian said.
Yeah, I heard it. That was an inside joke. Get your mic a little closer, Lamont. You're a soft talker.
All right.
I want to ask him a question. So, Lamont,
yes.
I'm very proud of you this year because you have got new clients. You and I have talked a bunch, as the season was starting. So the people that, I'm not trying to take over your show, Paul, but I'm very proud of this man this year. And the folks that are listening and watching, tell them something you did to get new customers, because guys, listen to this. That's a like top 5 question is, how do I get new clients? How do I get new customers? And what did you do this year? And I'm very proud of you. I'm not trying to blow smoke at you, but like, I'm very proud of what you did. So what did you do?
2 things that I did that I've never done in the past. One, I had to give 90% of what happened this year to my wife. We actually went out and we beat the ground. When I tell you beat the ground, I mean beat the ground. We went door to door to do postcards. And then after, she would go out and put them out. Like, she found neighborhoods that I never knew existed. And my sister-in-law's husband was a general contractor. He didn't know these neighborhoods existed. So she went to these different neighborhoods and passed out, went door to door and did actual postcards. Well, then, people always say the EDDM don't work, and I think it's different for everybody. So we sent out 1,500 EDDMs. I found the route that I want to get in. We sent out 1,500 EDDMs. Within those 1,500, they said 1 or 2% return. I think I picked up 5 clients out of 1,500 cards, which I'm happy with, because on the 5 that I picked up, there are 3 on 2 different roads, and the roads are a quarter mile apart. And I mean, I know that's big metro places, that's a lot, but I can start, like, I might go mow 2 or 3 here at Mitchell's location. I might go down to the bottom of the road and knock out 2 or 3 more. So those 5 clients are within a quarter of a mile to a mile of each other.
Route Density has definitely been a positive.
I'm proud of my man.
I'm trying, man. I'm telling you.
I had lighting a fire under his butt sometimes.
Hey, I talked to between him, and a buddy Paul who's not here. I worry them. I don't care if it's 12:30 at night.
I told him, I was like, them postcards ain't gonna grow legs and put themselves out.
He did.
Know what I mean?
He told me because I actually got them in 2019, but my father passed away, and I got them. They came in the mail 2 weeks after he died, and I put out maybe 20, and then I told him, I took a picture of him, sent him. He was like, "Well, they ain't gonna grow legs and walk themselves," and that's what did it. I said, you know what?
And you did some of those in 19 when you still had a full-time crew.
I did door hangers every year. Yeah, we'd put out 2,000-3,000. I didn't get that. I always got like a 0.5% return on my stuff. But 0.5% to 1% on 3,000. That's a pretty good return.
Yeah.
If you lock someone in at $15,000 contract a year times 15 to 20, it adds up.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm thankful. I don't take it for granted, not one bit. I'm very thankful. Like I said, if I just get us a little bit more, and I got 3 people that stays in my what all the time. When you gonna let the jobs go? When you gonna let the jobs go? And I was like, I gotta get to a certain place in my mind to where I'm comfortable to do it. So
I'm waiting for him to go full time.
Well, that was my plan this year, was to go full time, and I mean, I actually have a full time route, honestly, but I got a couple irons in the fire that the little part time job that I got is getting rid of that. So that's the only reason why I let it go.
You said in your mind you're not going to walk away from Lowe's until something in your mind. What is that parameter, or what's the line for you that you got to cross until you'll?
I got 2 bills that I'm trying to pay off. I'm gonna be blunt with you. I got 2. My daddy irons in the fire. His analogy of that was trying to get rid of some debt. So I got 2 debts I'm trying to get rid of, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Might be candid. I'm dropping $1,000 a month on this truck to get it out of the way.
Good for you, man.
I've been doing it for 2 months. I said, you know what? I got to get it out of the way. Every penny I make from Lowe's, I just take it, transfer it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. You need to do that if you can, like my dad says, earmark one of your. Like I've got a client in Blues Creek. I earmark his for my new truck.
Right.
And as soon as I get it, it's gone.
Yeah, every 2 weeks that amount. Like I got 2 bank accounts, and that I got one account that's associated with that truck, and when the money goes into it, and because I have you got the bank account and you got the loan, so I take that and transfer it over every 2 weeks automatically.
What's the reasoning of that money has to come from Lowe's though, from 5 to 9 versus you going out and picking up more lawn care income to pay it off?
I guess the reason why I said this is because when
not to be
no, I get no. I'm saying and you're right. I mean, several people have asked me the same thing. I guess because when I started Lowe's in January, that was my mind frame. Like I didn't have no idea that I would pick up what business that I picked up so far this year. And so I guess there's a reason why that I like I said in March, I was like, you know what, I need to do this.
And,
so
and
that's
I'm
the
not
reason
putting anything against you, but as compared to out here in the heat and the sun, making money is a little bit harder than probably the Lowe's job. And I don't want to say it's probably easy money, but it's probably a little easier.
It's only easier due to the conditions. But as far as the dealing with, if you never had a public job, I know you worked at Carrabba's back in the day. Mitchell's a highway patrol. If you never worked, well,
Keep going.
I apologize.
Keep
But
going.
I'm saying, like, but if you never dealt with the public, man, a lot of people can't deal with the public.
Yeah.
So
I still can't. 15 years later, I'm still trying to figure it out.
I don't think nobody ever figured it out.
No.
But I mean, like I said, I honestly could. Now I sit back and think about it. I probably could let that one go and honestly do this and be okay. I mean, my wife's been telling me for months, let it go, let it go, let it go. So she gave me the green light 3 months ago, and so I don't know. I just got to get something to click in here for me to walk away from it.
I'm going to call Lowe's and tell them to fire you. And then
That'll
it'll
work.
be done. That'll be the green light.
That'll work.
But, like, nicely. That way
Yes.
they'll be like, Lamont, your services are no longer needed here.
Hey, that might be what needs to be done. But, yeah, I mean, and I don't know. Like I said, mid-season, it's kind of hard to pick up clients here now. I'm not saying it can't be done. But mid-season, I mean, here in North Carolina, man, I mean, like in May, that's one of the worst droughts we've had since
18.
summer 18, yeah. I have one client that I mowed just one time in the month of May. I mean, I rode by her house every week.
Paul, we were talking about that at lunch.
Yeah. And before that, summer 16 was real rough. May and June, I remember that. Because I tell you about the raggedy mower I had, and, it was in the shop, and I didn't mow for 3 weeks because the grass hadn't grew. I had 1 yard out of my 10 I had at the time that grew.
I just hope we're not in the same boat that we were in 2018, where we had the drought in May, and then
2 hurricanes.
and then July and August kind of came through, and then the end of August into September it started to dry back out, and then here comes GIE, and no kidding, we get up to GIE and it starts pouring down rain here. We got like 4 inches.
Yep.
We had
So none of us were hesitant about going to GIE, except when we got up there, everybody's calling us like, it's raining cats and dogs down here. We're like, oh, good. Then we'll have something to do when we get back.
That's true. I know one hurricane we got 7 inches over the course of we got 7 inches in 12
Matthew.
hours.
Wasn't that Matthew?
I think so. And then one we got 12 inches, and we got 12 inches in 4 days. But it's nothing like when Texas got that 20-something inches, back in the first part of the May. I mean, they got like 23 inches in like 2 days.
They're sitting underwater now.
But yeah,
That day will click, man. It'll click.
I know. But the more I go to work, and I'm just like, why am I wasting my time? Like last summer, I had when I worked at Lowe's and the pandemic first hit. When I worked at AutoZone and the pandemic first hit, I worked a little job at a grocery store behind AutoZone in Eden, and I'm stocking the shelves, making $7.25 an hour, and I just clicked in my head. I was like, what are you doing? You're making $76 for 12 hours of work, 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 hours a day. And I'm like, dude, you can make $76 in 2 hours mowing 2 yards. Easy. And so I quit. I had to walk out. I didn't walk. I put my notice in. I said, man, I got to roll. This is not worth my time.
Your time's worth more.
Yeah. $76, what was that, $320 a month? No.
I'd rather pick up 1 yard and visit them 4 times in a month and make it.
Yeah, and he's right. And so, but now that I see it, you're killing yourself, and I'm like, well, you got to do what other people want to get what other people aren't. Mm-hmm. Mitchell didn't get a 40 by 60 building and 24-foot trailer and a nice Ram, twirling his thumbs and selling hot dogs. So
I wish that was easy.
But Eddie, you have to put in work. I don't care what you do, whether it's losing weight, getting out of debt. You have to put in the work.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, I got to check on the equipment and everything, so we're gonna kick it back to Mr. Producer in the ATL, and we'll have more with the North Carolina boys coming right up as the Summer Road Tour rolls on from Mitchell, Colfax. Where are we at?
Colfax.
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 Call.
Colfax, North Carolina. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're back here in Mitchell's new shop. It's absolutely awesome. And we were hearing a little bit about Lamont. I think we're all trying to kick him in the butt to quit Lowe's. That seems to be the census, three unanimous votes. Correct, Casey?
Oh, it's probably 4 or 5. It's probably a dozen.
Both feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to switch gears to your story, Mitchell, because you've taken a big change in your business to really you got a full-time career that's satisfying, that's good.
Yes.
And the problem was trying to manage that and have employees and a lot of customers and building a house, building a shop. It was just too much. And you kind of downsized a little bit this year. So now that some months have gone by, how has that schedule fitted with your lifestyle and overall mental health and things of that nature?
The 2021 has been awesome. I mean, almost like zero stress as far as lawn care work is concerned. Which that was my plan last year when I really downsized from being a full-time company and went from 80 plus accounts to like 17. But I still kept too much last year that I couldn't manage myself, so I had to rely on somebody, and that's where it backfired. But this year, I made it to where I didn't have to rely on anybody but Mitchell, because he always shows up to work, even if he's got the sniffles. I'm on time. And it's been nice. Not having to balance employees and all that stuff. And I feel for the guys that are having to do it now, because I think like this is the worst possible time for employees, because there's too many people that want to get paid to sit on their butt at home. And I don't know, I don't want to get this all political and everything, but that's a whole other ball of wax. But the path that I'm on right now has been great, and the number one goal was no stress. So I have accomplished that. I've got like a day and a quarter worth of work. So I've got like a 8 or 9 hour day and then a 3 hour day. So it's really, really nice. I think I've only had maybe 2 weather delays this year. Unfortunately, it's been dry, but things have been great. So clicking along. And
this is going to be, you're going to kind of cruise on this schedule going into the 2022 season. You kind of found your sweet spot, you think?
Yeah, I'm not advertising, not marketing, not promoting, nothing. Just I just want to maintain.
Control.
Yeah, I just want to keep it the way it is, and I don't want anything to change. I don't want anything to upset what I've got going on right now. So,
what would you say to guys that are that have a career, not a career like Lamont's situation where it's time to go from Lowe's, but they have a career that they don't want to give up, that they actually enjoy? I know we got school teachers. A fellow down in Texas, he's a school teacher and he coaches
government jobs.
And and he wants to keep that. He feels a satisfaction in reaching the other younger generation. But he's a weekend warrior. But then it's that balancing act, and they're on the side of I got too much and stressful. What would you say, as someone who's kind of got a little victory with the schedule, what would be your advice to the guy that's just burning it on both ends?
I've been in that position, and that's why I ventured into going full time, is because for, I don't know, it's probably 3 or 4 years, I was not saying no to anybody, and I was taking on too much work. So I was doing the highway patrol thing, which is my full-time gig. It's not going anywhere. And then I was running Mitchell's Lawn Care, just me, and I had it to where, I had to have somebody helping me, and it was, we were doing 12, 14-hour days, and it was just too much, and I got to thinking I wasn't able to enjoy any free time, none of that stuff. I was working every freaking day, except for, to this day, I don't do Saturdays and Sundays, unless weather, forces me to. But if a guy or a girl is in the position where they have that job or career or whatever that they enjoy, that they don't want to let go, but they also have this little, thing on the side that they're trying to maintain, is step back and look at your quality of life. If it's, are you able to spend time with family, loved ones, and friends? If not, you're doing something wrong. How's your stress level? Are you healthy? Are you, underweight, overweight? How's your diet? If you're doing a lot of bad things, you're smoking a lot or drinking a lot, and you're not spending time with family, something's wrong, Not saying that some of those vices are a bad thing, but all in moderation. And I got to a point where work was consuming my life, and that's all I was doing. Wasn't going anywhere, wasn't taking vacation, wasn't doing anything. Was just, sacrificing my free time in my life to running the business and working for the patrol. And that's when I knew it was too much. Either I had to put someone in place to run the business or pull back completely. So I did the full-time thing for 4 years, and then when I got to the point where I was like, I don't need this mess anymore, I don't need the stress, I'm sick of it, blah, 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 I scaled back to a place that where I should have stayed years ago, and that was, if there's a man or a woman in this position, like I am, keep just enough work, your main career, your main job should be your bread and butter. That's what's going to pay the bills, put the roof over your head, put the food on the table, blah, blah, blah. Your side business is not that, so don't make it that if it's not meant to be that. The side thing is a side thing. It's meant to be side money, play money, whatever. And I had to switch my brain and my mentality to think that way, that, hey, Mitchell's Lawn Care is not meant to put food on my table and a roof over my head. And once I realized that, when I scaled back and also knew that, hey, this is not meant to stress me out also, that's when I made those necessary changes. So you've got to have that division, that clear-cut line that this is what's important, my main career, focus on it, and then do just enough on the side to keep that thing going and have all the other, things in life, free time, whatever, a little bit of side money, no stress, whatever. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah. Do you find more satisfaction when you're out there on the properties and you're not stressing, that you just enjoy making someone's property look better?
Yeah, I do, because I enjoy riding motorcycles, and it got to be a point where I didn't even have time to ride, in the last few years. But this year alone, like when I'm out on the mower, and you guys may get this way, I don't know, but when I'm on the mower, I feel like I'm on the motorcycle because I've got my music playing. I escape, especially on the bigger properties. It's easy to do that on the bigger properties. If you're on a small property, a little postage stamp, you crank the thing, cut it off. You don't have time to escape. You know what I'm saying? So I do some of my best thinking on the mower, still focusing on what I'm doing so I don't mess the property up or do something dangerous and stupid. But I don't end up in the pond. But, think about life. What are we going to do in the house? Or, has Casey sprayed the yard he's supposed to spray? Or I'm just jab at you. I'm just kidding.
Sure.
It's nice, and getting on a mower is relaxing, maybe not in 100-degree heat with, 100% humidity like we have here. But I don't know. I enjoy it. It's because it is a side hustle for me now, and it's not such a beast that I've got to, shovel so much coal in to keep it going. My business is my stress relief now. Call me crazy, but it is.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Turner, talk to us about, thank you for sharing that, Mitchell. I think that's really important that you guys listen, because there's so much pressure to build it as big as you can. And for some guys, that's a smart plan, and you could sell it to one of the bigger companies and retire. But and we've talked on the show before, your other career, you feel called to that, and there's a satisfaction in that as well. So you're not trying to lose that to do this, and you found I think you found a really good balance.
Well, what's really cool, people watching or listening may be wondering why these three guys right here, and I really feel like there's a purpose, because we couldn't be any more different between the two, because what I've got going on, a full-time career, side business. Casey is full-time, but he's your solo guy. He's a full-time solo guy, and he doesn't want employees. You probably couldn't pay the guy to have employees. No. So he's your full-time guy. And then you've got Lamont, who's got aspirations and dreams to be the full-time guy, and he's closer to it now than ever, but he still has the side job that's not a mainstay, and that doesn't put a roof over your head. So this circle right here couldn't be any more different. And it's cool because people can take away so much different stuff from the three stories that they'll hear. And Casey's got a really good one.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. And just for the guys listening in context, we just interviewed Alex Kirby. He's got 25 employees. And Kyle Perkins, I think he has 27 employees. And the benefit of that is these guys are making bank. I mean, millions of dollars in revenue, and they're pricing it correctly. So is profit. There's a lot of money.
It's beneficial.
But the other thing that you can see all over their body language and over the the words they share on the air is it's stressful. The labor crisis, you alluded to it earlier with, we're not going to get all political, but
it was a daycare almost.
Yeah. So we are in a labor crisis, and when you have the commitment of $100,000 of revenue for maintenance a month, as the business owner, you have to follow through on your commitment. So you need laborers to do it, and it's hard to find them. It's stressful.
Yep.
And I want to hear why you're not going down that route, why you found your sweet spot being solo and proud.
Well, I mean, my dad, I should rephrase that. My dad started a company in 96, and I met Mitchell shortly after in high school, and him and I were friends in high school and everything. We actually just made contact, 5 years ago again, and really got knowing each other. But when I was in high school, I got out on 7th period. I went to work. That was still available back then. I don't know if it is now or not. But
I don't know if kids go to school anymore. Sorry.
But took 2 years off from school, and I actually got to starting work on a golf course where my dad was already working. So that kind of got me back into it, because our business had slowed down enough to where we had to find 40-hour weeks job elsewhere. It was just what it is. But going back to the golf course, and I really got the love for it again, so I actually ended up going back to school to get my turf grass degree. And after that, after I graduated there was nowhere for me to go at the golf course going up. So a buddy of mine called me, and I got into the commercial world working for regional companies, and I stayed at one for about 8 years, being an assistant grounds manager at High Point University. And that was an eye-opener in itself. If you ever want to get close to Disney World, there you go. That's like running Disney World there. But the whole time we were doing this, and I was doing this, we were still having a side hustle. We still had Dad's company, and we did it the best we could. We'd get off at 3 o'clock and go work till 7 o'clock if we had stuff to do. But when I got married in 13, my dad and I actually split our business. We only had 12 accounts at the time. It was winter time, so we split them down the middle. He took the low end, I took the high end residual. And being married to my wife, she's a school teacher, I knew I had that health insurance policy if I needed it. And I left High Point, went to work for Brightview in the middle of the merge. Mm-hmm. Worst 4 months of my life. I don't wish that upon anybody. But then the branch here wasn't all that great. But I actually got to work with another regional company looking over some shopping centers and some local universities. And the whole time I was working there, I still had the side hustle. I was running my own business starting in 2014, and then it grew to the point of 2017. I was making as much on the side as I was working full-time for somebody else. So that's when it was almost a no-brainer and a click in the head of, all right, you gotta jump ship and roll. And no sooner than I jumped ship, I doubled in size. And it's like Mitchell says, guys want to get out there and get on their own and just grow. And I did that. And it worked out for a little while. But I had 75 accounts. I was getting some help on the side from a buddy of mine. And then 2019 rolled around, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I had a few health issues. I was cracked back. My mower was going down. I was buying a whole bunch of different stuff. But at that point, I called my buddy, and I was like, hey, you're wanting to start a business on the side. Here's your chance. I'm going to give you this client. He's got 18 accounts. Have fun. Bill me at the end of the month. So I gave him his start, and now he's actually gone out on he's pretty much out on his own, and he's doing great. And I've got, I'm down to 30 accounts because Mitchell has stayed on me hard the past few years, and he's like, you need to consolidate routes. You need to stop traveling as much. And sure enough, in the last 2 years, I've really consolidated a lot. I've gotten back. I'm not doing all these little postage stamp yards anymore where I'm there for 10 minutes. But that one client that I had, he had 15 accounts down one road. So it wasn't all that bad, but I was tired of going out there. My buddy's doing them. He's loving it. He's doing great with them. But now I've consolidated back. I've done my root density, and now I'm making twice as much.
You're doing fertilization and weed control. Are you mowing and stuff too, or just doing the fert and squirt?
My main focus is mowing.
Okay.
But full service accounts, and that's really all that I take on. I take on full service accounts, properties. I mow, I do the pruning, I do the mulching in the winter, and I do the treatments. And then on like every 6 to 8 weeks, those 3 weeks or so, I'm spraying for buddies. I'm spraying mine. I'm spraying people that I've got on the side that I just spray for. But I've trying to calm that down a little bit and get control of that. And then my yards I've got pretty well control of. I'm having to change my route this month because I lost a property last month for Lord knows why, but I've already replaced them. So I'm not freaking out about it, but I'm trying to, the property that I picked up were commercial. So I'm having to change my route just a little bit and turn it around to where I can start on, say, one side of my route and work my way to the other instead of vice versa like it has been.
What is your truck and equipment that services both your mowers plus your fertilization setup? What have you found works best for a solo guy doing both mowing and fertilization and weed control?
For me right now, the only thing I wish I had was a 16-foot trailer enclosed, which I've got a 14-foot, but 16-foot's probably coming here in the next year or two. But so far right now that I've gotten rid of my half-ton pickup truck that everybody knows that I was carrying a 200-gallon spray tank in.
I got to interject. Anybody listening, Paul, I know you're aware of this, but some of the people out Midwest, they may not know or heard of the squat trucks.
Carolina squat.
that we clown on. Have you seen squat trucks? Okay, so they call them the Carolina squat anyway. But we had to pick on my man Casey here because his truck looked like a squat truck.
And I was doing the squat with stocks.
But he had legit stuff in the back, but it looked like a squat truck, man. He had a big old tank. It was overworked.
And it was two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was two-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive.
But he was getting it. He was.
I was able to get it done. Luckily, that truck got me an extra 100,000 miles. I got it paid off, and I actually sold it not too long ago before I bought my Dodge 2500 Cummins that I've got that now has a spray tank in the back that now can haul a full 7x14 enclosed trailer without squatting. But I love my truck. I love the tank in the back, and I've actually added a Z-spray in the last 6 months, and that's helped out a little bit. Mostly I bought it for the fall stuff. I'm still pulling hose as much as I can on some of the bigger things when it's not 95% humidity outside because that'll absolutely kill you. But I'm liking my setup right now.
And you're capped. You're not even considering getting an employee. You want to stay solo.
That's just one of the main reasons why I went out on my own. The last company I worked for was regional, doing shopping centers and universities. We had like 8 employees, maybe 10, and it was always somebody worrying about what somebody else is doing. I'm like, just take care of yourself. Don't worry about them. You've got your list. They've got their list. Go. And sometimes they'd have to work together, but I tried to keep them separated as possible so nobody could watch what the other one's doing. Then somehow I find out this crew is backtracked and come to watch the other one. I'm like, so you're not getting your stuff done. Go to work. But, I mean, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I didn't want any more employees. I'm not going to deal with it for as long as possible. So...
Well, I appreciate you sharing your insights there, Casey. We're going to kick it back to the producer. Mr. Producer, real quick, I'm going to keep an eye on my equipment, make sure we got everything running. I've been wounded. I did an interview at the Toro Company in Minnesota one time, and we're sitting down like this with Mitch Hoffman and Jared and the team there at Toro, and we get all done, and I go to look at this actual Roadcaster right here, and the red button was green and the timestamp was all zeros. So I have this scar, this wound, this paranoid, where I always got to check to make sure we're not doing anything in vain because I've done it before on the highest stage at Toro. So I got to make sure everything's rolling. But we'll be right back with Mitchell, Casey, and Lamont from Colfax.